down to go surfing one day with Jewel. And Jewel loved to surf. And she was playing at a place called the Interchange in Pacific Beach. And the Interchange isn't there anymore, but I was in a band called the Rugburns, and Jewel said to me, how can I get a following like the Rugburns? I want to play somewhere. And I said, you got to find a coffee house or something where you can play it every Thursday and people will start showing up. And when she first started playing, she was doing these long, rambling poem songs that would have no choruses. And it was cool, and there was something there, and people were showing up. And then she started getting more into writing songs every week. And so we went down to go surfing, and we ended up in Bahia de San Luis Gonzaga. I don't know if you guys know where that is. It's beautiful. If you're driving down Baja California, it's on the Gulf of California side, so you obviously can't go surfing there because there's no surf because it's a bay. And it's beautiful, though. Now, my friend Marcella who's here, she grew up in Honduras. So there's Marcella. Hey, Marcella. And she works for boxing. Stand up and wave to her. She works for a Spanish TV station, and she lives in Patagonia, Arizona. And she's a translator, and she knows everything about boxing. That woman knows boxing better than anybody, and she goes to all the prize fights. So that's my good friend Marcella, who showed up here, and her beautiful husband Randy. And they're like two of my oldest friends, so I'm glad they're here. But anyways, we were in Bahia de San Luis Gonzaga, and
is that in the Sea of Cortez?
It is. Or no, it's on the Gulf of California. So it's on the other side if you go down Baja, you know?
Yeah, it's still in the Sea of Cortez.
It is, isn't it? Okay, let's call it the Sea of Cortez. So we go down there, and
oh, I'm sorry. Here you go, ma'am. It's all right.
I'm drinking a big gulp. 52-ounce iced tea. So anyways, we go down there, and we didn't plan on going on a drug bust. We planned on wanting to go whale watching, and Mexican federal cops came up to us and said, would you guys like to go whale watching? Except his voice didn't sound that broken up, but the way he said it was like, would you guys like to go whale watching? And that was when I said, yeah, and I don't really want to go out there with you guys because you have automatic weapons. And you have guns shoved in your belts. And they said, come on. And they were looking at Jewel because she was wearing a yellow bikini and she looked hot and her boobs looked great in this yellow bikini. That was the real reason they wanted to go whale watching. They wanted to go boob watching. So we went out into the water on a boat with 4 guys with big-time weapons. And that was when they got a call and said, holy shit, this is the drug bust we've been waiting for days. They were on a stakeout to catch these drug smugglers. And I said, is your job dangerous? And that's when he lifted up his shirt. He had 4 bullet hole wounds. It was crazy, the scars right there, and exit wounds coming out of the back. So, anyways, the guy says, sí, es muy peligro, muy dangerous. So, anyways, he says, listen, we don't have time to take you to shore, and there could be a shootout. You guys may need some guns. Would you guys like an AK-47? Which you don't get asked every day. Matt asks me all the time when he takes me on ride-alongs. He lets me hold guns. Matt lets me shoot people from his car, and then he drives off. It's so crazy. I've shot 58 and a half people, because one was really short. And anyway, so the cops said, would you guys like an AK-47? I was listening to a lot of Snoop Dogg at the time, so I said, hell yeah, Dre. That was when Jewel did the infamous line, no, I believe in angels. So then we were going towards the island, and then you could see all the guys just scattering, and then they caught the slowest one because he was not in good shape. He ate too many Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars and could not run as fast as the other drug smugglers. And this guy, I'm telling you, man, this guy just gave up everybody. They caught him, and all they did was put their belly clubs up in the air, and the guy goes, all the weed's on a boat over there. And he's in his shipwrecked boat. And he just held his hands up. I guess you should pay your drug smugglers better money to not tell, I think. I don't think they were paying, I think they were paying a minimum wage. You would have made more at Walmart. So, anyways, they arrested him, and they caught all his friends, and they made me carry all the weed into the boat. And the boat was taking on water, because there was a lot of weed, like tons, and then they had everybody handcuffed, and it was really scary. They were looking at me like I was stealing their weed, and they were going to kill me. I am so glad Facebook didn't exist back then. It was like 1996. Could you imagine if Facebook, he could have just like poked me. Like literally, he shivved me if he'd seen what I did. But at that point, all you could do was fax somebody. So he knew that I didn't want to take the guy's weed. I wanted nothing to do with it. And then when we got back to shore, I grabbed Jewel by her hand, and we walked away. And then that was when the cop says, Esteban, ven aquí. And I said, what? And he goes, this is the largest drug bust we've had in years. I don't know why I can't do his accent good. He goes, oh, Ricky, he was bad, norny. No, this is what he said. He said, this is the largest drug bust we've had in years. And I said, what are you going to do? And he goes, we're going to have a party. And then he said to me, Levi, your jeans are drying on the lawn. Look at the fireflies, it's so sweet in the Georgia night. He got nothing to say like that. So he looks at me and he goes, I want you to take some of the weed. And then I looked at Jewel like, what the fuck? And I go, did you just say you want me to take the weed? Maybe you don't know how to speak English and you thought you said something else. And he goes, oh, I want you to take some. And I go, of the pot. And Jewel dug her fingernails in him and she whispers, you know when a woman whispers in your ear and she's pissed, like really pissed, she goes, you better not take any of that weed. We're crossing the border. And I was like, Jewel, a man with a badge and a gun is telling me to take weed. It's like the Pope is telling me to take weed. And then she said, I'm not involved in this. And then I said, well, just give me less than an ounce. So he opens up a switchblade and he stabs one of the kilos. And you could smell the skunk weed just wafting up. You know, like your dad, the kind of stuff your dad gets. So, anyways, the smell of the weed is just wafting up through my nostrils. And that was when I said, I'll just take less than an ounce. And then he goes, take a whole kilo. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, take a kilo. And I go, well, let's get out of here. And he said, let's take some pictures. And I go, photographs? Evidence? And he goes, see. So we have our arms around the cops, and then all the weed is shoved into this black Suburban, and we're holding guns and drinking Coronas and kissing kilos like this. And you can see these pictures on the internet if you type in Jewel drug bust photos. Google that shit. And it'll take you right to the pictures of us. And I think they even made it in High Times magazine. It was my mom's proudest moment. And so then I was walking down the beach with a kilo in my hand like this, just in broad daylight. A freaking kilo, like with bathing suit on. That's it. And then there was a woman cooking something in a big pot, a silver pot. She was like 80. And I go, hey, how's it going? She goes, muy bien. ¿Cómo estás? And I go, muy bien. Yo viajé en México para 3 meses y medio. Yo estudié en Guadalajara, México. Me gusta México mucho, es mi favorito país en todo el mundo. And she goes, ah, qué bueno, guapo. Qué bueno, guapo, bueno. And then I said, dame un beso. And she gave me a kiss. And she was 80, and we just hugged. And then I said, would you like a kilo of pot? And she goes, sí. For my arthritis. And then she took the whole kilo and poured it into the spaghetti sauce she was cooking. And it cooked into it. It was really beautiful. I watched it all. And I go, what's that for? And she goes, spaghetti feed tonight. And I go, oh, cool. And then I walked away, and then I realized it was a busload of Salt Lake City Mormon kids coming to a youth group. It was like a youth group spaghetti church thing. And so that was when I had this big moral dilemma. And I said to Jewel, I go, I got to go tell their leader that they're going to be having pot spaghetti because Mormons don't drink caffeine. They don't drink alcohol, they don't smoke cigarettes, and I know they probably don't smoke weed. So I'm going to go tell them, and Jewel said to me, you better not tell them, you just stay out of it. You've gotten us in enough trouble. So I go, fine, I won't say anything to anyone, I'll just let the Mormon youth group get stoned. How do you feel about that? So then we got in a fight, and then we crawled back under the covers, went to sleep, and then I woke up at midnight, and all the youth group, they were like singing Kumbaya but backwards. It was like this. They cut the head off of a wild boar, and one of them, they named one of the kids Piggy, and they were reenacting Lord of the Flies. It was crazy. Like the shit I saw was nuts. So I went back into the bedroom and I go, Jewel, you're not going to sleep. What's going on out there? You know, and the girl's still mad at you, and she's like, I'm going to sleep. Just shush. So then I couldn't sleep about it, but I slept for like 4 hours, and I woke up at 6 in the morning, and then I walked back out, and it was just a mess. Like, tables tipped over, spaghetti sauce flung on the shit, and there was this one guy that was asleep in the water, and the tide was coming up, and he was next to a goat, like spooning it, but it wasn't kinky. It was just like he fell asleep next to a goat. but he was in his missionary clothes, like with a black pants and a white shirt and tie. So I was like, hey man, you should wake up because you could drown. And I kicked his shoulder and he goes, thank you very much. And I swear to you, when he looked at me, his hair was perfect. Even though like water was coming in, he goes, thank you very much. He looked like a mannequin. It was so weird. I was like, I didn't even know if the guy was real, but he was talking. And I was wondering, did I eat the spaghetti? So then I go, listen, I just wanted to tell you, he goes, you saved my life. I owe you one. And I go, don't worry about it, man. And I go, just come see me play sometime. And he goes, what's your band's name? And I go, the Rugburns. And he said, okay, maybe I'll come see you sometime. And he goes, what's your name? And I said, Steve Poltz. And then I go, what's your name? And he goes, Mitt Romney. So, okay, that's the only part of the story that isn't true. The other part's true. So I went back in the room, and I started writing this song. And Jewel woke up, and we wrote it together. And it goes like this. I hear the clock, it's 6 a.m. It feels so far from where I've been. I got my eggs, I got my pancakes too. I got my maple syrup, everything but you. Break the ice. A new place, I wipe the spots up in the mirror. Don't need the keys in the door. I never put wet towels on the floor anymore. 'Cause dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. Called my mom, but she was out for a walk. Consoled a cup of coffee, but didn't want to talk. Picked up the paper, it was more bad news. More hearts being broken, more people being used. Put on my coat in the pouring rain. Some windy, but it wasn't the same. It was happy, I was sad. It made me miss you, oh so bad. 'Cause dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me. I go about my business and I'm doing fine. Besides, what would you say if I had you alive? Same old story, much to say. Hearts are broken every day. I brush my teeth, I put the cat back on. I know you hate it when I leave it laid on. I pick a book up, turn the sheets down. I take a drink and a good look around. Put on my PJs and I hop into bed. I'm half alive, but I feel mostly dead. I tell myself that I'll be alright. Shouldn't think anymore tonight. 'Cause dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. And I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. You were meant for me, and I was meant for you. So when the song ends up getting this popular, what's weird is if you're the guy that was in the video, then the video got shown a lot. It was like 1997 or 98, I think it was. Jewel was wearing a powder blue dress with 100 arms and it sewn to the floor. And she was cutting the arms off to set herself free. And I'm not wearing a shirt in the video, and I'm going like this to Jewel's face. And so the video was played everywhere. So people started at that time in 1997 recognizing me and calling me the dude from the Jewel video. So it got to be really weird. And one time I was at the San Diego Chargers game, and it was the third quarter, and I was in line for the beer because they cut off beer sales at the end of the third quarter, and you want to get your beers. And they happened to be playing the Raiders, and when the Chargers play the Raiders, it's like a huge gang fight in the stands. So they have to cut the beer sales off or people will get stabbed. And so I was in line to get a beer, and this guy was standing there, and he was a Hell's Angel, and he had the vest on, and he had those spiderweb tattoos on his elbow and tattooed tears on his cheek. He was scary looking, and he had his girlfriend with him, and he turned and he started staring at me. So I just looked down at the ground. I didn't know why he was looking at me, and then he goes to his wife or his girlfriend. He goes, "That's a dude from the Jewel video." And then I said, "Huh?" And he goes, "Come here, little man. My old lady wants you to sign her breast." And I go, "What?" He said, "You're the dude from the Jewel video. My old lady wants you to sign her breast. You need to sign her breast." And I said, "I don't want to sign her breast, Mr. Scary Biker Guy. Can I just get my beer and be left alone?" And he had some friends with him, and he goes, "When a man asks you to sign his wife's breast, you goddamn well better sign her breast." And then everybody in the beer line, there's like 100 people started going, "Sign her breast! Sign her breast!" So the guy hands me a Sharpie, and he takes his white boob right out of her top, and she had huge boobs, and he goes like this. And it like stretched out that far, and he gave me a Sharpie. So I started doing swirly S's around her nipple, and like, really scared he's gonna shiv me. And then I hand him the breast back like that, and he tucks it back in her thing. And that night I had nightmares. And I woke up in the middle of the night of people saying, "Sign her breast! Sign her breast!" Now to this day, the only way I will ever play an encore at a show is if the audience is on their feet shouting, "Sign her breast." Because then I'll know they really mean it. Let's try to sing the chorus here. Dreams last so long, even after you're gone. I know you want me, yes. And soon you will see you were meant for me. Meant for me. I was meant for you. Say it again now, people. Yeah, you were meant for me. And I was meant for you. You sound like beautiful angels. That's amazing. Yeah, 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 sign her breasts.
And there was 20 minutes of pure awesome for you, by the way, assholes.